Croeso nôl, welcome back to the FleetEV National League up here in Bangor. It's the 2025 season and we are ready for game number 2 of the day, where it is North West Fury taking on Cardiff's City Flames. I'm Ella Roberts and today I have here with me Kerry Almond. How are you enjoying the game so far?
Yeah, I really enjoyed this morning's game, Volcanoes versus Phoenix. It was a good start. A slow start from Phoenix, but they improved as the game went on, which was nice to see. But yeah, impressed with Valley Volcanoes, defensively particularly.
Lovely stuff. Yes, we did see Valley Volcanoes beat West Wales Phoenix this morning on our first game. So on to the second game then of the day. Let's go through our starting sevens just for this second game. So for North West Fury, in goalkeeper we have Steffi Stutt. In goal defence, Steph Oliver-Smith. In wing defence, Lily Dudson. In centre, Lucy Moran. In wing attack, Lucy Leonard. In goal attack, Amy Thompson. And in goal shooter, Gwennan Williams. MVP from last year was Gwennan Williams, one of the MVPs there. So looking forward to watch her play. For City Flames, goalkeeper, Caris Allen. Goal defence, Caitlin Bennett. Wing defence, Beth Proctor. Centre, Elise Hayward. Wing attack, Harriet Skinner. Goal attack, coach captain, Sarah Bell. And goal shooter, Tasha Charles. Familiar faces again for you here, Kerry?
I think, obviously, I know Sarah Bell from her Dragons and Welsh Feathers days. Yeah, so interested to see how she plays today. Obviously doing a bit of everything, coaching, captaining, playing. That's hard work, so like to see how she kind of copes with that. But again, interested to see a lot of players that, again, I've not seen before, and just hopefully looking forward to another good game.
Absolutely. So the umpires for this game then, Claire Williams, and Anne Burt Williams. They are about to take the court. City Flames over there in that sunflower yellow dress. And City Northwest Fury in the wonderful green on your left. Claire Williams crossing the court. And Amber Williams gets the players ready as the time will soon be running and the players still hasn't taken the court.
I don't know if we're going by the clock that's on the wall, whether it's a little bit slow. Obviously going off that, but yeah, the teams do need to be on court when the umpires tell them to. But as both teams are late on court, the centre pass won't get turned over. Northwest
Fury, of course, getting the crowd going, and it is their home city in Bangor for a lot of them. But City Flames will take that first centre pass. Coach captain Sarah Bell feeds to Harriet Skinner. And our resident deep heat expert, Tash Charles, puts that first goal in the net.
Yep, we can smell her from here. No, that was a lovely 1-2 that she did and just found herself in the back space and landed right under the post. So a great start from her.
Lovely work to start off the game. And again, that first kind of important turnover from City Flames, just like we saw in the last game from Volcanoes, that first sort of turnover ball as well to get them going.
Yeah, did a really,
2 goals in a row.
Centre pass, and it turned the ball over and it's got them into an early 2-0 lead. Steffi Stutt does have her job cut out for her in today's game. She is giving up quite a bit of a height advantage into that circle with Tasha Charles, who, I don't know, must be around about 6 foot, if not more. So yeah, just like seeing her moving her feet and seeing how she can get up and off the body.
That feed from Elise Hayward just slightly overcooked to Sarah Bell, but Sarah Bell gets her hand on that ball. Is pulled for contact. From last year, from what I remember though, Steffi Stutt does love a jump for a ball, and she does love a fly, so she's not to be underestimated.
Well, now I'm going to be looking out for that. I'm looking forward to seeing her coming out of the circle on some of these longer balls through court, so no pressure.
No pressure at all. Here come City Flames again. Great control there by Elise Hayward down the side of the court to control her feet and the ball and her hands. And a lovely no-look feed from Sarah Bell to Tash Charles, who puts the third goal on the board for Flames. Lucy Moran in that centre position for Fury, previous coach of mine. Previous coach for actually a lot of these Fury girls, I think, Lucy Moran, and a very, very experienced umpire.
Oh, well, she needs to be perfect then with this game. If she's an umpire or coach, expecting big things from her now.
Very experienced. And Amy Thompson takes that first shot for Fury and sinks that shot. Steph Oliver-Smith, I did warn you about these Fury defenders. They do love a jump.
Yeah, I think that was... she did a good job in just recognising that the feed was coming from Sarah Bell's chest and below. And if you wanted to pass an over ball, that's not where that feed should be coming from. So she does need to get that ball up. I do think as well that given that height difference in the circle, they can look for a one-on-one. But that was a great baseline drive and a fantastic feed.
Fantastic feed indeed from Harriet Skinner. She just watched Sarah Bell take that entire run behind Tash Charles, and it was a beautiful feed. And again, that feed could have been absolutely on point by Lucy Leonard. However, Caris Allen and Caitlin Bennett were all over it.
The noise level in this sports hall has definitely increased in this game. And a lot of that is coming from the Fury bench. And they're so loud, which is what we like to see.
The Fury bench is definitely contributing to most of the noise, but we cannot discredit the crowd here as well for Fury.
Not the right kind of feed, but I do think Tasha Charles possibly just moved off her hold a little bit too early there. We've always spoken about the height advantage, but that means that she doesn't have to move as early as she was doing then, and that feed can just pop over in a nice little loop, but she moved off it too early and the feed was overkicked.
Lovely hold, lovely feed, lovely turn, Gwen-Ann Williams. Nice link up with Lucy Leonard. Both defenders out, and Williams has no problem putting that ball in the net as if it didn't even go anywhere. It was up and down through swish. Caitlin Bennett, though, straight through for that interception tip.
There's just only one option on that centre pass there, and I think Lucy Moran is just looking at that a little bit too long. If she's looked at it for longer than a second, she does need to look elsewhere, whether that is another player coming over from the front or whether she does need to turn and have a look to her wing defence and goal defence.
Elise Hayward, another one of those fast players that plays centre for City Flames. She moves almost 2 steps ahead of the ball again, isn't it? Like, the feet are too fast for her body, but she always keeps up.
Yeah, I think maybe in that situation she just does need to slow down a little bit more, just to be a little bit more under control. But if it works, it works.
So, Tash Charles just passing the ball off to Sarah Bell for that penalty. And Charles puts another one on the board for Flames, taking the score to 7-2. Lucy Leonard and Caitlin Bennett are fighting it out on that sideline. Like you said, that ball tends to go play a lot on that sideline. We haven't seen a lot of action on this side of the court yet.
Yeah, I think Fury possibly just need to change up their centre pass a little bit, have a few more options or certainly different options. It isn't quite working for them just yet, so I would like to see maybe goal attacks and wing attacks working together a little bit more on that line just to create something different for this Flames defence to contend with.
Harriet Skinner with that lovely 1-2.
And a great front position there from Steffi Stewart. That was exactly what she needs to do. I do think perhaps that feed needs to be set a little bit more, though.
Yes, Harriet Skinner again. Her feet were running a bit too fast for her body because she wanted the ball quicker, so she couldn't really stop herself, and that ball was let go. Caris Allen sighted that ball and wanted it, but Gwen-Ann Williams ran straight around the front. Gwen-Ann Williams is one of the players who's born in Anglesey, lived there for quite a while before moving down to Cardiff University, works as a teacher in Cardiff, plays all her netball in Cardiff, but always plays back for her home county in these tournaments.
I think there's just something about, playing for where you're from. I like that. I like that she's kind of not been swayed into playing for where she lives now. Like, she feels that this is her home, so absolutely, why not? Full credit to her for that. Full
credit indeed. One of our MVPs from last year, Gwen-Ann Williams. Plays with a lot of the City Flames girls in Cardiff for Dinas Netball. Won national championships for clubs this year.
She has a lovely, strong front hold. Always looking to find the body of the goalkeeper. I just think the feeds into her from the Fury midcourt just need to be set a little bit more. If she has that front hold, the ball doesn't need to be going into space. It just needs to be going at her instead.
Flames trying to move that ball around, but in through the middle for that interception comes wing defence Lily Dutton. Lucy Moran finds Gwelan right under the post, like you said, had just backed on to Caris Allen for that space. And she always finds herself right underneath the post for that shot, doesn't she?
Yeah, she's got such a strong hold in there, and to be honest, it'd be more difficult not to find her under the post with that hold. I would just like to see the Flames defenders, Caris Allen, just kind of getting off the body, confusing that space for the feeder. If your shooter wants to find your body, then you come off and you make her come find you again, and it just confuses where they need to put the ball for her. Yeah, she is leaning on to Tasha Charles quite a lot. She's making it really, really obvious. Just stand up straight and get off the body, and then you're not going to be pulled for that.
With a height difference like that, it's quite obvious, isn't it, when that happens with a shorter defender and a taller shooter?
Yeah, exactly. And the lean is just more obvious. I think she just needs to start mixing up, being on, being off, being on, being off. It'll just mean, again, like we were talking about Gwennan Williams, the midcourt won't then be sure where they need to put the ball, and you then make the front ball look like it's open, and the feed might be flatter for you to then have a run onto. So I'd like to see her coming off the body instead of trying to fight against her. It's not a battle she's going to win with a tall shooter.
Lovely feed again from Lucy Moran into Gwennan Williams, who again has no problems putting that ball in the net. Lovely turnover from Northwest Fury. But that feed from Amy Thompson just wasn't on for Gwennan Williams. I don't think she expected that ball, but that jump from Lucy Leonard to try and get that ball, that was a little bit out of her reach. Steffi Stutt again trying to come through Tash Charles a little bit there for that ball instead of coming around.
Yeah, probably a little bit too highly penalised for the first quarter. I think Fury coaches do need to have a look at that and just see if there's anything different that they can do. She does need to change how she's playing on Tasha Charles, though.
And there goes the whistle for that first quarter for Fury and Flames. So the score at the end of that first quarter, 10-6 to City Flames. Only 4 goals in it. A nice close game for that second game of the day. So please join us in a couple of minutes as we return for quarter number 2. Welcome back to the FleetEV National League here in Bangor. It is game number 2 on day number 1, and it is Northwest Fury versus City Flames. Flames currently leading 10 goals to 6. And I believe Ambert Williams might give another warning if these players don't get on the court.
Yeah, if you are not on court in the right time and it's your centre pass, they have been known to turn a centre pass over and turn it the other way. So
here we are. You have been
behave
told.
Yourselves.
Behave yourselves indeed. Changes for Northwest Fury. They have taken Amy Thompson from that goal attack position and put on Ellen Barwick. And as we're talking, wonderful feed from Lucy Leonard to Gwennan Williams as Ellen Barwick drew that defence out.
Yeah, that's a really good defence there by Fury, forcing Flames back on that centre pass.
No changes for City Flames. They have kept the remaining 7. And here goes Tash Charles. Just checking her positioning with Ambert Williams, the umpire, and takes that score to 11-7. Only 4 goals in it between these two teams on quarter time. And Fury eagerly trying to get their first win.
Lovely feed and another wonderful hold from Gwennan Williams. I'm surprised she didn't put that shot up though, but she does hopefully put herself into a better position, gets the contact call, and I'm sure she'll finish this off.
Gwennan Williams
curse the commentator again.
So the commentator strikes for the first time today. It is a real thing that we do try and avoid as best as we can, so we will apologise to Gwennan Williams for that one. Ambert Williams just laying down the law, one of our most experienced umpires here in the National League. And the score now 12-7 as Flames took that turnover and a lovely centre pass.
Really, really simple centre pass. Middle, shot.
That's as simple as it's going to get, the middle shot. Won't get any simpler than that, but there goes Lucy Leonard straight into pocket.
But then Fury do pretty much the same thing, just a little bit wider. Like, just defences, probably I'm asking you to step up a little bit more.
And it's getting louder in here with these two teams. Like you said earlier, most of the noise for Flames coming from their bench, but the noise for Fury is coming from the crowd. And there goes Steffi Stud right through the middle of Tash Charles's hands, but did catch her on the head a little bit.
Yeah, I was going to say that was better from her, but I think on that out and in, she needs to run the front instead of just, like you said, trying to run through the back of her, because that's never going to win you any favours from the umpire. So work her feet and get round the front of that body.
A lot of these Northwest Fury girls were part of the first Island Games back in 2023 when they represented Anglesey. And their head coach for Northwest Fury, Simone Gould, was the head coach for that squad.
I think Steffi Stutt is going to get a talking to at some point. She does need to change how she's playing. There we go.
Is that a commentator's curse or just a prediction?
I think it was definitely coming. She did hip check her slightly while she was in the air, which can be construed as dangerous play, especially with the new rules that we've got as well. So anything where you hit a player that's in the air, you are walking the tightrope. So she does need to change her play now and kind of address that contact.
Absolutely does need to change that play. We have to keep our players safe. So a talking to for Steffi Stutt. Any more from her then will be a straight warning. And further will be a 2-minute suspension.
Yeah, I think that because she's so tight on the body, when she's getting up in the air, she's getting underneath Tasha Charles, which for me is dangerous play regardless of whether she hits her or not, because it can change her landing. So I think either the umpires need to address that now, or the Fury coaching bench do need to possibly have a look at that and make a change.
Well, City Flames were unlucky in that one as wing defence. Beth Proctor thought that ball was out by Lucy Moran, but she had indeed kept it in, and they did turn it over for a goal.
Super quick feet there by Lucy Leonard. Sorry, Harriet Skinner.
And Lily Doodson takes that ball away from Tash Charles.
This is all going this game.
Lucy Leonard.
What a feed.
Lovely feed from her Loughborough player, Loughborough University. Loughborough netball captain. Also working towards her B umpiring awards. So, again, citing Gwennan Williams on that hold.
I think as well what Ellen Barwick is doing really well is she's landing and she's feeding it straight away. And those, as a defender, they're really hard to work out where you need to go. And she's doing it perfectly, but the hold is absolutely spot on as well, so that is helping no end.
Well, Ellen Barwick sinks that one for Fury, making the score 17-12. 5 goals in it now. Tash Charles just taking another hit from Steffi Stutz on the head, but manages to sink that ball.
She is going to be bruised tomorrow.
I think Tash Charles is used to it from playing in Cardiff League. That's why she covers herself in deep heat as a pre-game ritual. And Bert Williams is not happy with Steph Stutz. She is trying to contest for that ball, but unfortunately is coming off on the wrong side, isn't she? And is coming through for that contact.
Yeah, and that's the problem. Because it doesn't look like she's actively trying to come off the body and contest with it. And that's where she is going to pull the attention of the umpire. So I just think she needs to start off the body, give herself the room to move, get her feet round and actually get her feet back and up. When you're stuck on the body, you can't actually challenge the overball because you have no room for your feet or your body to actually move properly.
Great words.
Perfect feed.
Great words of advice there for Steffi Stutz, as we see a wonderful feed for Gwennan Williams, who had almost bodied up on 2 defenders by screening herself. And Steffi Stutz takes one back by getting a contact call off Tash Charles.
Yeah, she got herself in the right space and Tash Charles just ran into her and probably just gave her a bit of a hit check, probably because she's been hit so much already.
Poor Gwennan Williams. She saw the ball, she sighted the ball, but it just slipped through her fingers, and it happens to us all.
Yeah, just not able to reward the hard work from Steffi Stutt at the back.
Well, Caitlin Bennett saw 2 City Flames players, and Harriet Skinner thought it was for Sarah Bell, and Sarah Bell thought it was for Harriet Skinner.
Yeah, and just sailed off the other side of the sideline. So let's see if Fury can actually reward this one.
Gwennan Williams
out
not
the
afraid
circle.
to
I
come out
want to
with
be in the circle. Get back in the circle.
So Flames go again to try and extend their lead. Harriet Skinner playing high up the court. Footwork called for Elise Hayward.
I don't think she agreed with that call.
She didn't look like she
eye
agreed.
roll anyway. What a take.
Karis Allen runs straight into the post. And Gwennan Williams sinks another one. 14-20 now is the score. 6 goals difference.
Lovely.
Oh, well held by Ellen Barwick on that single leg.
The core strength and the balance to just somehow manage to keep that one in and then find Gwennan Williams as well. Just, yeah, excellent.
Great work by Barwick to find Williams. And Williams not able to sink that shot. Karis Allen fighting to keep that ball in, and it ends up in the crowds. Lucy Moran looking for a feed. Lucy Leonard rolling lovely off Beth Proctor.
Oh,
And
no.
a replay ball for Barwick. So that was really nice play by Fury not to force that ball in.
Yeah.
And so unlucky.
I think the ball just kind of died a little bit as it got to Ellen Barwick, and she just wasn't in the right position to get both hands on it. But they've done enough to slow it down so that Flames couldn't score off that one. But unfortunately, we've now got a warning for Lily Doodson.
A wing defence for Fury received a warning on the buzzer. And I believe for dangerous play, as she stood in the way of a Flames player as they were coming through for the ball, essentially taking their landing space, like you said before, with our new rules protecting our players. But at the end of that second quarter, the score is 20-14. Flames leading by 6. Consistent play for Flames then, again scoring 10 points. But Fury, that's a better quarter for them. 6 in the first quarter, now scoring up to 14 in this one, so scoring 8 in this quarter.
Yeah, really positive for them. I think they just need to set themselves on that feed into circle, because Gwennon Williams has got a really good hold. So just set your feed, have a look at the space, and just pop it into where she needs it to be.
Absolutely. And just if you were giving quick words of advice to both teams right now, what would you give them?
I think, again, for Fury in defence, they need to come off the body, give themselves space to run at the intercept. If you're not winning the ball one-on-one, maybe have a think about what you can win outside the circle. Flames, I think, just more of the same, just a little bit more control in the mid-court. There's been a few errors there, but just keep plugging away and doing what they're doing. Defensively for them in the circle, if the feed's on, there's not a lot you can do, so you have to start talking to your centre and wing defence about getting those the Fury mid-court off the circle edge, because the easier ball to win is the longer one.
Absolutely, you heard it there. So half-time here at game number 2. Join us in a couple of minutes for the second half. Croeso nôl, welcome back to the second game of the day here at the FleetEV National League, where Northwest Fury are taking on City Flames. At half-time, the score was 20-14 to Flames. Only 6 goals in it in this lively second game of the day. Changes then on the court for Northwest Fury as they just turn over the ball. Wing defence, Alice Francis. Goal defence, Beth Phillips. And goalkeeper, Steph Oliver-Smith. So 2 players that were on the umpire's radar was Steffi Stutt and Lily Dootson. So they have been taken off the court.
Yeah, I think that's sensible coaching. If you've got a player on a warning, you can't really run the risk of having them sent off at any length of time. So, yeah, sensible coaching decisions. And we'll actually see if it helps them defensively.
And a change for City Flames. Jill Morgan is on wing defence. As Tash Charles takes that first goal to make it 21-14. Lucy Leonard fighting for space there against Jill Morgan and finding it. Good option by Lucy Moran there to reset instead of forcing that ball in. Seeing 2 defenders on Gwennan Williams.
Yeah, I think she turned and looked and there was just like a sea of yellow. And when you have that many opposition players in between you and your player, then I think resetting the ball is the sensible option because it allows your team to just reset themselves in effect and allows your shooters to rotate into where they actually need to be.
Well, that turnover there from Caris Allen was taking the ball away from Gwennan Williams, and that lovely feed from Sarah Bell to Elise Hayward. There is one slight change as well from City Flames. Elise Hayward has moved to a wing attack and Harriet Skinner is in the middle. Just a switch around there for those 2 players. Lucy Moran finding circle edge in the pocket.
That drive there as well from Ellen Bowick just took a defender off Gwennan Williams and just allowed that nice, easy front pop to post.
Ellen Bowick doing really well just to drag defenders away from Williams. Their partnership has been growing over a few years. Contact calls very high in this game, isn't it? The penalties on the contacts.
Yeah, I think the players in this game are all kind of running very on the body. And they just need to take that angle on the inset rather than running at the player. And that'll hopefully free the game up a little bit. There is far too much whistle in this game for my liking. But it's on the players to clean that up, really. Oh, unlucky.
Bethan Phillips was unlucky there. She almost overran the ball and tipped it back, but into the hands of Tash Charles, who will shoot those shots any day. They are her bread and butter, those shots. But Lucy Leonard's finding circle edge. Ellen Bowick not comfortable in that shooting range and wanting to find Williams, but she was doubled up again by Proctor.
Probably just a little bit too much flair on that one. I think the simple thing would have been to have gone to your centre in the pocket and then play yourself off on a circle sweep, but she took a step and then wanted to play it into the shooter, but it just didn't quite work.
Tash Charles resetting. And no problem for her on that shot. Tactical change then for City Flames. Elise Hayward goes back into the middle. And on to wing attack. Comes Sarah Bell. Sarah Bell moves across to wing attack for City Flames. Change around of the bibs there. And as Zoe Stanley comes on to goal attack for City Flames. Zoe Stapley, a 22-year-old, who grew up in Dubai and captained the United Arab Emirates under-17s squad.
Very nice. And the first action in there, and she just pops the ball under the post to Tash Charles.
On the run
Great
to
start.
Tash Charles. Lovely work. Lovely ball by Elise Hayward, whose bib is upside down. And I don't know if she's noticed. Oh, but we do have an injury to Claire Williams, the umpire. So time has been called.
This is an unusual one, but Tash Charles is indicating that it's a knee issue.
Seems to be a knee issue. And Jordan Dent, the team manager for City Flames, is straight over.
This is not what we want to see.
And she is carried off the court to a round of applause from the crowd. We do not like to see anyone injured, especially our umpires. And Claire Williams' daughter, Charlotte Tapp, will take over in her place.
Quick change of umpires.
Switch, quick switch. And Amber Williams resumes play. We do hope nothing too serious for Claire Williams, but she did look in a bit of pain. Hopefully she'll get it sorted. And
I was just about to say that was a really good start from Fury. She looked across the circle to look at Lucy Moran, but then it drew the keeper out the circle, and then under the post to Gwennon Williams, but she can't quite finish that one off.
And then a lovely transition quickly through court from City Flames. But again, almost that last ball is a little bit too quick for their own movement.
I think part of the problem is that they're landing the ball and they're landing facing the opposite sideline, and they need to turn and look into the circle straight away. And they're not doing that, and it's just allowing the Fury defence to just kind of set up.
Exactly as Lucy Leonard just did, but she was so unlucky there. Gwenna Williams pulled up for contact on Caris Allen, pushing off the player. Caitlin Bennett held that ball wonderfully from going offside.
Personally, I think that was a really harsh call, but we don't argue with the umpires.
We don't argue with the umpires, especially when they've just come on to replace the other umpire.
We may roll our eyes at them, but we don't argue.
And a lovely draw out from Zoe Stapley to draw Bethan Phillips away from that front ball to Tasha Charles, and a tactical change for Fury here. Lucy Leonard steps into that centre position. And into wing attack for Fury. We see a change. Ella Parry steps into wing attack, and Gwenna Williams has been taken off the court, and Karis Jones is in at goal shooter.
So we'll see how this affects the way that Fury play. Obviously, slightly smaller shooter in there, but again, same as the Flames, that they need to turn and look at the circle.
So now we have two moving shooters in that circle for Fury. And Flames are losing the ball as Fury keep turning over ball after ball after ball. Change dynamic now for their attacking end, maybe?
Yeah, I think now we've got more of a moving circle. We're probably going to see the ball move a little bit quicker. But again, they have to turn and look. And just make sure they're shifting the defenders out of the way. If they just continue to look sideways, it's not going to move anybody. But with that change in there, they probably just need to slow down a little bit while they adapt and adjust. But that is a perfect pinpoint feed.
Elise Hayward, absolutely known for her pinpoint feeds, and Tash Charles, all she had to do was stick out a hand for that ball, and it was absolutely there.
And a brilliant step change on that centre pass by Zoe Stapley. And again, a long bomb feed. These Fury defenders need to start moving around the body and getting on the front. I think they're just being undone a little bit with their lack of height in that defensive circle.
Well, without that height of Gwenna Williams, Fury have to work that ball around a lot more in the circle, and that pass from Barwick to Jones was picked up easily by Caitlin Bennett. And Tash Charles picks up the rebound from Zoe Stapley. And Sarah Bell
Much better defensively.
Just off on that ball, I think. Not enough behind that pass.
I think it was probably also just a little bit too flat, but Steffi Oliver-Smith in defence then did exactly what we spoke about. She came off the body to promote the flat feed. And then she ran her feet, got the tip and picked it up. But I think Sarah Bell just needs to recognise that and still put that height on that feed. Because Tash Charles is obviously a lovely tall player, so play to her strengths.
That ball just too much for Elise Hayward. Unable to get to that one, so Fury will bring it up, but Jill Morgan read that one for... Oh, and Jill knew the clock was running down and played the ball in, but it was incorrect setting. So that miscommunication there, a bit from City Flames to get that last goal in for the end of the quarter. But the score is 31-16, so Flames have really pulled away here.
Yeah, not the best quarter there from Fury. They actually only scored 2 in that quarter compared to 11 by Flames. So Flames really put their foot down in that quarter. I think for Fury, they just kind of moved away from what they were doing really, really well in that second quarter. So just a bit disappointing.
Maybe the change that they were almost forced to make in defence by taking off Steffi Studs and Lily Dudson because of those warnings, maybe change that defensive dynamic, and then taking off Gwenna Williams, almost changing the whole team that they were. Yeah,
I think they really, really struggled in attack in that quarter. I don't know whether, obviously, Flames have changed something. And they were picking up more ball outside the circle, which is stopping the ball getting to the actual shooting circle anyway. I'm not sure that the moving circle is going to help them in this game. I think they probably do need to bring Williams back on, and it looks like they are doing. Just to give them that little bit more height, I just think they need to play with a little bit more control outside the circle.
Absolutely. So join us in a couple of minutes as we return for the final quarter of this game of Fury versus Flames. See what our end results will be for these two teams' first game in the FleetEV National League. Well, welcome back to the final quarter of this second game of the day of Fury versus Flames. As they return to the court, Flames pulled away in that third quarter. Final score of that third quarter was 31-16, with Fury only scoring 2 goals. Looking around for changes on the court, Harriet Skinner returns to wing attack for City Flames, with Sarah Bell, coaching captain, taking the bench. Caris Allen comes out to goal defence for Flames. And Katie Darlow, my apologies, Katie Darlow goes in to goalkeeper.
And straight away the noise level from the Flames in defence has gone up. Katie Darlow really bellowing those instructions.
And the only change that we see for Northwest Fury is one that you predicted, Kerry, is Gwennan Williams back on to goal shooter.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that. I think it just works better for them to have that strong hold and height in that circle. Obviously, it didn't come off from them with a missed shot, but we'll just see how she can adapt to a slightly different goalkeeper.
And there goes Tash Charles again, as cool, calm, collected as ever.
Lovely quick ball in there that's totally off-footed both defenders.
So Fury now bringing the ball down the court.
Fury are going to have to really think about getting that 50% score so they can get at least 1 point out of this game. They are below that at the moment, so we do need to see all their players step up across the court to turn the ball, but also make sure they are scoring off that and consolidating all the centre passes.
Absolutely, as you mentioned, it is 5 points for a win, 3 points if you do get a draw. It's 2 points for losing within 5 goals. And you do get a point if you score more than 50% of that winning team's final score. So for Fury to get that 1 point, they do need to get a little bit more goals on the board. But Harriet Skinner there is pulled for contact. And Ellen Barwick secures that turnover for her team.
Nice. That was a really, really good circle sweep there from a goal attack, Ellen Barwick. Just need to see a little bit more of that, take on a little bit more of the load to take the pressure off Gwennan Williams a little bit. But I think Fury do need to just step up a little bit more in defence. They all look like they're really frustrated with this. And even if you are, you do just kind of have to make it look like you're not and just keep plugging away.
Absolutely. And Bethan Phillips trying to tip that shot from behind of Tash Charles. And the crowd are well behind Northwest Fury. Tash Charles getting frustrated with herself, as we all do as shooters.
Just yells at herself under the post.
That third shot does go in. Sometimes you just need a couple of opportunities. Harriet Skinner sights Charles by herself under the post, but both defenders run into the post.
Oh, I think that's a little bit of an unlucky call. I think she shut the line off really, really well for Harriet Skinner, but obviously umpire deemed that her arms are out, causing an obstruction, so she couldn't go past. And a bullet feed from Harriet Skinner.
And Charles lucky not to be called for using the post on that one, as I think she was just resting, maybe.
Yeah, we give shooters the benefit of the doubt.
Tactical change called for City Flames. Tash Charles is coming off.
Taking a well-earned break.
Taking an earned break indeed. And I believe to shoot for City Flames, on comes Niamh Morton.
Fury have just kind of fallen apart a little bit in attack. They've definitely moved away from what they were doing so well in that first half. They just need to bring a lot more control back into this game. Just set themselves. If they need to slow it down, slow it down.
Almost being dragged into the City Flames' speed instead of playing their own.
Yeah, and it's just not working for them. You know, definitely if you can get that quick feed away, do it. But I think sometimes coming through the court, they're going a little bit too fast and making a few too many errors.
Well, Fury are almost putting 2 players on every one of City Flames. And Harriet Skinner's pass to Zoe Stapley was just a bit too strong.
Slightly lucky on that back line there, but she managed to style it out and get the ball away before she put her foot down in court.
Oh, and that ball from Alice Francis easily picked up by Jill Morgan for a turnover. And Elise Hayward and Harriet Skinner play it down between them. Zoe Stapley just short on that shot. And Niamh Morton is pulled up for contact on the rebound. Alice Francis cited that one as well. But the ball from Skinner to Morton again.
That was extremely well read there from Carousel, and she was just in the right place at the right time, and a really strong take on the ball as well. But I think she felt that one a little bit.
She did. She kept her feet on court and just expected the hit. I think she knew it was coming.
Yeah, she sighted that really well, and just made sure that she was in a good, strong landing position. But yeah, I think she definitely felt that in her hip a little bit.
And another change now happening for City Flames. Charlotte Lewis is coming on for City Flames in goal attack. I believe Charlotte Lewis was a South East player last season, but has now moved to Cardiff. And is at the heart of the Cardiff Dragons under-21s. Setup has previously played under-21s and under-19s. She is currently studying to be an accountant.
Lovely feed there from inside the centre third. But Niamh Morton just needs to set herself there and actually finish that off.
Just short on that shot for Niamh Morton. That Elise Hayward just couldn't find that feed, just didn't have that swing of the ball enough to get around.
No, but Bethan Phillips was in the right place there, just managed to knock the ball against the post and then just pick it up. And Fury really, really need this one. They need to score this, and then it'll be their centre pass to hopefully make sure they are within that half. But
there comes Caris Allen.
Curse of the commentator again.
Commentator's curse is rife today. I haven't said a word, but you've been doing all the
it's
work
all
for me.
It's all me. I'll take the blame. I don't mind.
Caris Allen comes straight through, but don't worry, Fury have turned the ball back over. So they might fix it for you. Commentator's curse strikes for me on that one, as Barwick is just short on the shot, so Katie Darlow will take.
And I think the umpire deemed that as an intentional. She moved that all the way up to the third line. I thought it was supposed to be half a third, but each umpire does things slightly differently and sees things differently. But yeah, so Ellen Barwick probably does need to be careful now because she's on an advance.
A lot of the Fury players have been given advances and warnings. Well weighted there for that feed by wing attack.
And with only 25 seconds to go in this quarter, Fury really needs to step up defensively and actually stop this ball getting through, because at the moment they are on that half mark. But if Flames get this one through, it makes it very difficult.
And that
brilliant
shot.
Tip shot there. She timed that to perfection.
Perfect timing, especially knowing as well the clock was running down and that shot had to go up. Well, the final score here between City Flames and Northwest Fury, 42-21. So a high-scoring game for both teams. Fury only just getting into half a score exactly.
Yep.
To gain their 1 point on that one. So that was a bit of a comeback for them for that one. They did manage to get some more goals in the net on that on the last quarter compared to their 2 goals in the second quarter. Final words for both teams, Kerry?
Yeah, I think Fury just needs to have a look at how they are entering the second half again. They started off brilliantly in the first half, and I think possibly it was the enforced changes with wing defence and goalkeeper obviously both being on warning. So they probably need to look at how they're asking their defenders to adjust within the games. But yeah, Flames were impressive. They worked the ball patiently through court, and obviously they've got a massive target with Tasha Charles in at shooter, and they used her wonderfully.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations to City Flames on their first win of the day against Northwest Fury. Next up, we will have Powys Sparks taking on South East Blaze just after 10 to 12. So please join us for that game, third game of the day here in Bangor. We'll be back with you to bring you all the action at just before 10 to 12. Join us then.